Clint Walker names the 7 actors he respects. Most, Clint Walker was born Norman Eugene Walker on May 30th, 1927, in Hartford, Illinois. Growing up in a small town in the Midwest, Walker's early life was shaped by a combination of rural values, hard work, and a natural athleticism that would later define his screen persona. He was a tall, commanding figure, standing 6 feet 6 inches tall, whose presence alone conveyed strength, stoicism, and an almost mythic sense of heroism. From a young age, Walker demonstrated a dedication to physical fitness and sports, which became crucial to his later career as a Western hero, where ruggedness and authenticity were highly valued. His upbringing in a simple, hard-working environment instilled in him qualities of humility, perseverance, and a quiet charisma that would endear him to audiences for decades. Walker's journey to stardom was not immediate. It was marked by determination and resilience. After serving in the United States Army during World War II, he explored various occupations and trained in acting, ultimately catching the eye of Hollywood producers who recognized the combination of his striking looks, athletic build, and natural screen presence. His breakthrough role came in 1958 when he was cast as Cheyenne Bodie in the television series Cheyenne, produced by Warner Brothers Television. This series became a groundbreaking moment in television history, as it was the first hour-long Western series and helped redefine the genre. Walker's portrayal of Cheyenne Bodie, a strong, principled, and morally upright cowboy, resonated deeply with audiences, making him a household name. He embodied the idealized vision of the American West, brave, silent, and dependable, yet capable of great emotional depth when the story demanded it. Throughout his career, Walker was known not just for his physical presence, but also for his professional integrity. He consistently chose roles that reinforced his heroic persona, often portraying characters who upheld justice, defended the vulnerable, and navigated moral dilemmas with wisdom and courage. His commitment to authenticity extended off-screen as well. Walker was known for performing many of his own stunts, a testament to his athleticism and dedication to his craft. This hands-on approach lent an unparalleled realism to his performances, making his characters believable and compelling. Over the years, he appeared in numerous feature films and television projects, including The Dirty Dozen, More Dead Than Alive, and The Night of the Grizzly, demonstrating remarkable versatility by transitioning from westerns to action, adventure, and even war films, while retaining the same commanding presence that audiences adored. As the 1970s dawned, Clint Walker's career was anything but quiet. He made a quirky appearance alongside an ensemble of familiar faces in the offbeat comedy The Finks, 1970. But it wasn't long before television pulled him back into the spotlight. Walker returned in full force, taking the lead in several high-profile TV movie pilots that aired on ABC's wildly popular Movie of the Week. These included the rugged frontier drama Yuma, 1971, the gritty Western revenge tale Hard Case, 1972, and the atmospheric manhunt adventure The Bounty Man, 1972. Each role reminded audiences why Walker had become such a reliable and magnetic presence on screen, but real life almost wrote a far darker ending. In May 1971, while skiing on Mammoth Mountain, Walker faced a nightmare that sounded more like a scene from a disaster film than actual life. He crashed violently, and in the chaos, one of his ski poles pierced straight through his chest. The accident was so severe that many assumed he wouldn't survive. But in true Clint Walker fashion, with the resilience of a man forged from Western grit, he made an astonishing recovery that only added to the legend surrounding him. As soon as he was back on his feet, Walker charged into new roles. He teamed up with the charismatic Telly Savalas in the 1972 biographical drama Pancho Villa, bringing his signature stoic strength to a story set against revolution and rebellion. 2 years later, he claimed the lead in Kodiak, 1974, a short-lived but memorable series where he played a tough and steady Alaska state trooper navigating the dangers of the wilderness. That same year, he starred in the made-for-television cult Favorite Killdozer, a film so wonderfully bizarre it still gets talked about by genre fans, and followed it with the suspenseful creature thriller Scream of the Wolf, 1974. Walker kept the momentum rolling through the mid and late 1970s. He headlined the family-friendly frontier adventure Baker's Hawk, 1976, then shifted into supporting roles in the chilling snowbound horror Snow Beast, 1977, and the atmospheric western The White Buffalo, 1977. He crossed into Canadian cinema with the post-apocalyptic thriller Deadly Harvest, 1977, proving he could adapt to darker, more modern storytelling. As the decade came to a close, Walker made a memorable appearance in the sweeping TV miniseries Centennial, and rounded out the era with a role in the tropical adventure film Mysterious Island of Beautiful Women, 1979, adding yet another unexpected credit to his diverse resume. Clint Walker's personal life, particularly his experiences with marriage, reflected both his enduring commitment to family and the evolving chapters of his life off-screen. Over the course of his lifetime, Walker entered into 3 marriages, each of which lasted roughly 2 decades, illustrating a pattern of long-term dedication and stability that mirrored the steadfastness of the roles he often portrayed on screen. His first marriage was to Verna Garver in 1948, a union that marked the beginning of his adult personal life shortly after he began establishing his career in entertainment. Together, Walker and Verna welcomed a daughter, Valerie, in 1950, who would grow up to forge her own path as a trailblazer in a male-dominated profession, becoming one of the first female airline pilots, a remarkable achievement that underscored the pioneering spirit within the family. Despite the love and bond they shared, the marriage eventually came to an end, culminating in a divorce in 1968 after 2 decades together, reflecting the challenges of balancing a burgeoning acting career with family life. Following this chapter, Walker found love again with Giselle Hennessy, whom he married in 1974. This second marriage, like the first, demonstrated his capacity for enduring commitment, and it lasted for 20 years until Giselle's death in 1994. Their marriage was marked by companionship and mutual support, with Walker maintaining a relatively private personal life during these years, focusing on his family and continuing to engage with his professional projects in film and television. The longevity of this marriage highlighted not only his loyalty, but also his ability to nurture meaningful relationships over the long term, even amid the pressures and public scrutiny associated with celebrity life. Walker's final marriage came later in life in 1997, when he married Susan Cavallari. This union lasted until the end of Walker's life, reflecting a sense of continuity and enduring devotion even in his later years. With Susan, Walker experienced the companionship and emotional support that had characterized his previous marriages, and together they shared the quieter, more private moments of life away from the public eye. Through these 3 marriages, Clint Walker's personal life demonstrated a pattern of deep commitment and resilience, with each partnership offering him different experiences of love, family, and personal growth. His relationships not only enriched his private life, but also provided a foundation of stability and care that accompanied him throughout the remarkable career that made him a beloved figure in American film and television. Clint Walker, the towering Western icon whose deep voice and gentle humility made him beloved far beyond Hollywood, rarely spoke at length about his own achievements. But whenever he was asked about the people who inspired him, you could see his expression soften. He always insisted that the real measure of a man in the entertainment business wasn't the fame he carried, but the respect he held for others. And when Clint Walker named the 7 actors he respected most, he didn't hesitate. Each name came with a story, a memory, and a quiet personal truth. "These folks," Clint once said, "earned my respect not just for what they did on the screen, but for who they were when the cameras stopped rolling." First on his list was John Wayne, a man whose shadow loomed as large over the Western genre as any mountain range. Clint admired Wayne's larger-than-life presence, but even more, he admired the Duke's toughness. "Wayne had a way of walking onto a set and making everybody stand up straighter," Clint recalled. "He respected the work, and he expected everyone else to do the same." Though their styles were different, Wayne played grit, Clint played quiet strength. Clint always credited Wayne for raising the bar for every cowboy who came after him. Next came Gary Cooper, the king of understated emotion. Clint had always been drawn to Cooper's honesty as an actor. "Coop didn't need to say much," he once explained. "He could look at you, and that look told the whole story." To Clint, Cooper set the gold standard for Western heroes. Calm, thoughtful, and dignified. Walker often said that if he ever came close to embodying that kind of steady moral center, he owed it to studying Cooper's performances over the years. Another name on his list was James Stewart, whose sincerity touched Clint deeply. "Jimmy was the real deal, on and off camera," Clint said. He admired Stewart's bravery during World War II and the way he carried himself afterward with humility instead of pride. For Clint, Stewart proved that being a hero in real life didn't require theatrics. It required character. Then there was Lee Marvin, the rough-edged actor who brought fire to every role. Clint liked him because Marvin never pretended to be anything he wasn't. "Lee was blunt, tough, and sometimes a little wild," Clint joked, "but he knew his craft better than anybody." Clint respected that Marvin embraced his flaws instead of hiding them, turning them into a strength that made him unforgettable. One of Clint's biggest personal influences was Audie Murphy, the most decorated American soldier of World War II. Murphy's humility, despite his staggering accomplishments, stuck with Clint throughout his life. "Audie had seen more than most men ever will," Clint once said, "but he never acted like he deserved special treatment." Clint admired that quiet resilience and felt a deep connection to Murphy's soft-spoken nature. He also named Henry Fonda, whose moral complexity fascinated him. Clint loved how Fonda could play both upright heroes and deeply flawed men, giving each role a humanity that lingered. "Henry showed us that even good men struggle," Clint said, "and that's a truth worth telling." Finally, Clint honored Ernest Borgnine, a man whose warmth won him over instantly. Borgnine's versatility amazed Clint, the ability to go from villain to sweetheart without ever losing authenticity. "Ernie had a smile that could light up the whole room," Clint remembered. "And when a man with his talent still treats the crew like family, that tells you everything about his heart." These 7 men, Wayne, Cooper, Stewart, Marvin, Murphy, Fonda, and Borgnine, formed a constellation of influence around Clint Walker. Their work impressed him, yes, but their humanity impressed him more. As Clint summed it up, "You can teach someone to act, but you can't teach them to be decent. These were decent men, and that's what I respected most." Clint Walker's remarkable journey finally came to a close on May 21, 2018, in the quiet serenity of Grass Valley, California, when he passed away from congestive heart failure. The timing added an extra emotional weight to the moment. He was just days shy of celebrating his 91st birthday, a milestone that would have marked yet another testament to his strength, resilience, and larger-than-life presence. Even at the end, his story felt like something out of one of his classic frontier adventures, dignified, powerful, and deeply human. Walker didn't leave this world alone. He left behind a circle of loved ones who carried pieces of his spirit forward. His daughter, Valerie, who had grown up watching her father navigate the unpredictable world of Hollywood while forging her own groundbreaking path, continued to honor his legacy in her own fearless way. His third wife, who had shared with him the calm, more private chapters of his later life, remained a quiet pillar in remembering the man behind the fame. He was also survived by his half-sister and grandson, each connected to him through threads of family history, memories, and moments that stretched far beyond the screen. He had, however, already said farewell to someone who had once been part of his earliest beginnings, his twin sister, Lucille Westbrook, who passed away in 2000. Their unique bond, formed long before Clint Walker became a household name, added a bittersweet layer to his story. Even as audiences around the world mourned the loss of a towering Hollywood legend, those who knew him personally felt the deeper ache of losing a father, husband, brother, and grandfather.